How's it going, everyone? As today is the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PC, a lot of news about Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 has actually come out today in a Q&A with director Naoki Hamaguchi. A lot of information, a lot of notes, and some stuff I find pretty predictable, but I think people are going to be interested in hearing all of it, so let's talk about it. Currently, the game is 9 months into development. The development really kicked off right after the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Remember, they had said that they don't want to do DLC for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because they want to go directly into Part 3 and get out Part 3 as soon as possible. Ideal scenario would be that Part 3 comes out in 2027 for the 30th anniversary. I just think that makes all the sense in the world. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but if we're talking about aiming the game for a release window that would go in line with everything to expect, 30th anniversary, and just for the sake of it, I would put the game on 3 discs just so, you know, it gets that oh my god effect, much like Rebirth got when it was announced to be 2 discs, but 30th anniversary, 3 discs, that would be a love letter to those that played the original. And I ain't gonna lie, like, I was very, very young when Final Fantasy VII originally came out. That's not really for me. I mean, I played the original, but not at launch. I don't have that nostalgic attachment towards it, but I love the game when I played it, obviously, but I just think in terms of really building like that mystique around it, oh my god, 3 discs, oh my god, it's the 30th anniversary, I think that's what they're going for. Hamaguchi noted, regarding the third game, we started working on it immediately after finishing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth around March or April of 2024, so we've already been in development for about 9 months. Our goal for 2024 was to solidify the gameplay experience we were aiming for with the third entry of the Remake project, and we put together a great build that aligns with the team's overall direction and vision. Starting in 2025, we've entered the phase of building and refining the game based on the plan we've established, and development is progressing smoothly and at a good pace. Following the schedule I initially laid out, I can't say when I'll be able to share more information, but please stay tuned. Yoshinori Katase, producer, noted, when it comes to a large story-driven RPG project, the pace of development depends heavily on whether the story itself is fully locked in. For the third game story, after I received the scenario from scenario writer Nojima, I asked him to give it a greater sense of completeness since this is the final game. We just wrapped that up a few days ago, so I feel that things are progressing smoothly. So they got the story outline in place, and now it's all about execution. And talking about the game's release, Hamaguchi noted, first off, the Final Fantasy brand and franchise, and by extension Square Enix, have built a very strong partnership with Sony Interactive Entertainment. I strongly hope this continues going forward. However, it's also true that we are no longer in an era where limiting the hardware on which you can play offers only substantial benefits. In fact, we've been seeing more and more cases where Sony titles are being released for PC in addition to PlayStation 5. Through this Remake project, we also realized this shift and have announced as a company we will be gearing more towards a multi-platform development. New IP will be developed along these lines, so I personally believe it to be inevitable that console and PC versions will be released at the same time or extremely close to each other going forward. Now, what that means for the third part of FF7 Remake, no one really knows because nobody really knows how that exclusivity agreement was outlined. However, some speculation. Final Fantasy VII Remake, when it initially came out, it was announced with a 1-year timed exclusivity. Then Intergrade got greenlit, and what seemed to happen is they tacked on another 6 months of exclusivity, and then the game came out to the Epic Games Store, and Epic Games Store signed an exclusivity deal for the PC release, and then it came out on Steam. That was not the case with Rebirth at all. It was a 1-year timed exclusivity on PlayStation 5. Now, what is it going to be with Part 3? Is it going to be a 1-year timed exclusive as well? And actually on PC it was 11 months, but I am very curious. He also noted that this will not be a next-gen exclusive, which making it a next-gen exclusive would make absolutely no sense. Again, why would you utilize FF7 Rebirth as a tool to promote PlayStation's hardware? Let PlayStation sell their own hardware. Let them release games, which they're not very good at right now, by the way, but let them do that. focus on getting Final Fantasy VII Part 3 to be the biggest game you could possibly get it to be. Now, if you already signed an exclusivity deal with PlayStation, it is what it is, but get that game out on other platforms. I don't think an Xbox release is going to be this behemoth of a release, but PC, Switch 2, absolutely you're going to get a significant amount of sales. And again, in a vacuum, it might be nice. That bag of money might be nice from Sony, but you are limiting the ceiling of the franchise and the IP of Final Fantasy as a whole. A lot of people don't get that, where they're just like, so one-year time exclusivity. Yes, that may be true, but remember that a game's hype and anticipation, it's always going to peak right when the game comes out. When you have a delayed release, you are tapering that off to a great extent. Look at the PlayStation on PC releases. They've done well, but it's not like they're pushing groundbreaking numbers. Ghost of Tsushima, for example, 70,000 concurrent players, that's great, but I think if an FF7 Rebirth or a Remake Part 3 was to release day and day on PC, that game would crack 120, 150,000 concurrent players as long as it's a good PC version, and then also on Switch, and ultimately the word of mouth would then spread and more people would be playing Final Fantasy and getting invested into the franchise. Not only that, why would you release the game as a PlayStation 6 exclusive? You guys, you release it on PlayStation 5, it'll run how it runs, probably fairly well on the Pro, but, maybe some limitations on the base console, and then you do remasters. Y'all think they ain't gonna be re-releasing this trilogy for eons? PlayStation 6, PlayStation 7, when we're dead and buried, PlayStation 25! Like, they will be releasing the FF7 trilogy over and over and over again. They will do 47K remaster, 8 million frames per second editions in the year 2100. I truly do. They'll have the VR, you're in the game in the year 2200. What I'm saying is they're gonna re-release this collection for a very, very long time, and you'll want to piecemeal it out. I think you want to get it all on all relevant platforms right out the gate, or again, if that exclusivity agreement is on the table, get it out as soon as possible after it expires, but then, after that, re-release it on the next generation platforms. Do collections, like, when the Switch 3 comes out, like, you telling me they ain't gonna re-release? Oh, hell yeah, they're gonna re-release it, and the entire trilogy, they'll release it, the FF7 Remake Trilogy project, $120. Y'all already know that stuff is coming. And, they still got other games they gotta do. Like, where'd my Dirge of Cerberus at? I want my Vincent Valentine in his own game, damn it. If they can do Crisis Core, they can do Dirge of Cerberus. But we'll see how all of that transpires and how that all comes to fruition. Part 3, I think it is gonna be out sooner than people expect. And the fact that they are foregoing on doing DLC, to me, that says they really want to get this out for the 30th anniversary, and I think 2027 makes all the sense in the world, especially if the game, you want to get it out before the PlayStation 6 comes out. And to look at FF7 Remake, that came out in 2020 ahead of the PlayStation 5's launch that fall. I expect we'll see something similar to that. A 2027 release ahead of the PlayStation 6's launch. A year after its release, you'll get the upgraded release and everything like that. I think that makes all the sense in the world, and you'll get people buying the game multiple times. Like, it's a game that they're going to be able to monetize for a very, very long time, in the sense of not microtransactions or anything like that. I'd like to see some DLC in Part 3, why not? But I'm talking about releasing it over and over and over again. I think they're gonna get a lot of mileage out of it, but that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Obviously, Rebirth was one of my favorite games of 2024, and hopefully Part 3 will be out in 2027. Like, that's fingers crossed. A 3-year turnaround for turnaround time for a game of this scale is super quick. With game development times these days, you're looking at 5 to 7 years for a lot of these games, but I think, given how they're talking about it, I think they want to get it out in 2027. We'll see. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.